What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, CRYPTOCRANE. You are here on the Sunday Night Hangout on the Crypto Hangout Network. Got a good show for you guys today. As always, we talk crypto news, go over some Twitter news, look at the biggest market movers and shakers of the day, and we answer any questions as well as look at some of the charts. All right, so before we get started in here, I want you guys to let you know that we also have another podcast that you can find on Spotify. As you can see right here, you can find it on Pandora, you can find it on Amazon Music, Siri, you can find it on Sirius XM Radio, as well as the Sunday Night Hangout, the replay. So you can find it on all the podcasting platforms. Just in case that you guys don't listen to it on YouTube or you don't listen to it on Spotify or Pandora, you can find it on whatever platform that you listen to. So before we get into the news today, it's been quite a bit of news this week that has came out as far as the the SEC regulations, and as far as the markets have been going. The markets have been falling a little bit here this past week, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But I want you guys to understand that you have to stay the course. This is still early. This is still an opportunity that you are privy to that most people are not. You guys are here with me. That's the first step, and I promise to bring you all the information that I find that will help you make the possible best decisions when it comes to entering this crypto market. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and get into the the weekly movers. All right, so we have Bitcoin down 1.56%, Ethereum down 2.37%, BNB down 2.58%, XRP down 11.81%, Cardano down 13.42%, Solana down 9.9%, Dogecoin down 5.74%, Polygon Matic down 4.47%. Polkadot down 5.51%. We have DAI, it's down 0.03%. Tron down 0.94%. Shiba Inu 7.60% is down. Wrapped Bitcoin down 1.5%. Avalanche down 8.2%. And we have let's see here, Uniswap down 9.39%. We also have Leo that is up 9.50%. We have Litecoin that is down 5.79%, Chainlink down 7.26%, Atom down 11.9%, FTX token down 2.47%, Ethereum Classic down 15.9%, a whole whopping 15%, as well as Stellar XM down 11.55%. Chronos CRO down 3.25%, XRM down 2.44%, Near Protocol down 15.62%. Quant QNT up 22.19%, Algorand down 5.48%, Bitcoin Cash down 6.81%, VeChain down 2.48%, Terra Classic Loon C down 13.29%, Flow down 13.19%, Filecoin down 6.19%, TON down 6.9%, HBAR is up 1.3%, ApeCoin is down a whole whopping 15.44%, as well as ICP down 15.23%. Elrond Gold is down 2.03%. Tezos down 6.10%. Mana down 8.47%. Sandbox is down 7.8%. Chili's is down 16.47. Aave down 1.38. EOS down 7.39. Huobi token HT is up 54.56%. OKB is up 6.59. Theta Network is down 6.58. And Maker is up 9.66. And that tops out the top 50 coins and their 7-day percentage moving average. As you can see, for the weekly, it's a lot of red. A lot of red for the 7-day movie. Okay, a few green, but a lot of red. Right? These are times you can buy. These are markets that you can buy in. All right. As always, crypto bubbles. As you can see, instead of me reading it out, you can actually see it. The movers and shakers. As you can see, HNT is up 61% now. TWT up 10%. Quant up 24%. CSPR is up a whopping 30.4%. ENS is up 11.8%. All right, let's look at the charts. As you can see, this is a Bitcoin chart. It is holding at the price of $19,183.70. As you can see, it's forming a little downward trend again. You have a little bit of a rounded bottom right here, so you might have a little bit of upward over the next 24 hours toward this ceiling or this top right here before it falls back down again. You needed a higher high than this one for it to reverse the trend, but it didn't. It got a lower high right here, so therefore I expect more downside. Okay, now the low, it made a higher low, so I mean it could consolidate, but I expect more downside because you have a double. It was essentially a double top right here, triple top. You see double, and then you have a lower high, right? Okay, so I suspect sometime this week that it falls back down towards, the 18,000 level, and actually falls back down towards, and actually gets towards this right here, back down here towards the 18 level again. If it does, then I expect for 17,005 incoming by next Sunday. All right, so as you can see, still on a downward slope. And why do you say that? How do I get that? Let me show you. Enlarge that a little bit. Okay. So where's the downward slope? Right there. You have the peak. Boom. Downward slope, right? So you have a little rounded bottom right here. Now it's probably going to form a little choppiness, the rest of the night tomorrow, and then comes back up here to touch this trend line right here, which is going to also hit this ceiling before it comes back down towards this right here, which would be a bull trap. Yeah, so RSI is looking steady, MACD is looking steady, and that is Bitcoin. If you pay attention to any of the videos that we put out or to any of the live streams, then you know that we are of the belief that Bitcoin is following, and the entire crypto market is following the S&P 500 E-mini futures. And so therefore, we also look at that chart as well. And as you can see, you also have double top, boom, boom, lower high, downward trend. Same thing, right? This is the 4-hour chart. Now, let's look at Ethereum. Here's Ethereum. Same thing. You have a little rounded bottom. But you have a little bit more space to play with here with the Ethereum, except for you have resistance. You have resistance 1, 2, 3, right? And then you got a lower high and a lower high. So downward trend. If it breaks this 12,000, this 12,000 is going to not 12,000, 1,200. This 1,200 is going to become a ceiling, and then I expect more downside towards the $1,000 mark. Okay. So this is Ethereum. All right, so now let's get into some crypto news. If you guys are not following the Crypto Hangout on the Twitter, here is our page right here. This is the Crypto Hangout Network on Twitter. You can find us at CryptoCrane 2, and also our sister, radio station, Non-Fungy Radio. Follow both of them. And here at Twitter. All right, so now let's get into some of this Twitter news. All right, wanted to show you guys because I like Ethereum because you can make a lot of money with Ethereum. But this picture is so accurate, man. you know, I wanted to, show you the accurateness of this picture. As you can see, you have Ethereum as the dam. You have the EEA, the Ethereum Foundation. You have all these OFAC, the shitcoins and NFTs that are being built on it. The excessive high fees, the unregistered security, because it really is, the regulatory capture, and the centralization, because it is centralized. It's all breaking up Ethereum, right? Make it so you can be bigger. Yeah, so this is accurate. That, my friends, is very accurate. All right. So, like I said, centralization, EEA, the Ethereum Foundation, JP Morgan backed, and Wall Street backed. So it's not really centralized like they claim, and it's actually everything that they say that XRP was as far as centralization. That's what Ethereum is, and XRP is everything that they thought Ethereum was. All right, so now this is interesting, right? The other day, if you paid attention or anything that was going on in the news or any type of entertainment or anything, or even the financial world, then you've known that Kanye West has been going at it with his partners. It was Adidas, Gap, and then now they're retaliating and hitting him where it hurts. They kicked him out of his banking establishment. He can't bank there with his bank anymore. They gave him to November to actually find another place to bank and things. And this is even more the reason why you need crypto and decentralized crypto, and not a centralized crypto or a CBDC, aka central bank digital currency. This is all the more reason why you don't want to go for this type of stuff, because you set yourself up for the opportunity to be controlled and to be, well, let's just let Kanye sell it.
Put $140 million into JP Morgan. You know what I'm saying? JP Morgan, I put $140 million into JP Morgan, and they treated me like shit. So if JP Morgan Chase is treating me like that, how they treating the rest of y'all?
That's outrageous. Yeah.
Fair use, fair use.
And this murderers with Chase accounts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I am outraged. By the time people they want to calm it down.
Because no matter what, you didn't break no law.
I didn't break a law.
No matter
I didn't
what,
break a law.
The bank shouldn't be a judge or jury on anything that's
But
going
this
on.
is it's like a social contract. Candace Owens has a word for him.
Like he says, social contract. So if you break their social contract, and if you remember on past live streams, past videos, I have stated that they want to go to this Chinese model, which is a social contract model. All right. If you don't understand and know what I'm talking about, just look on YouTube, look for all types of videos in China about the social construct system that they have put together, and they say get yourself educated on what that social construct is, what they're trying to do, and why it's so bad. All right, so you need to educate yourself on this type of stuff so you can understand what's going on, and how to protect yourself, and how to stay ahead of the game and ahead of the curve. All right, so let's go ahead and let him finish.
I'm forgetting, but it's basically like they told Candace Owens she couldn't hang out with me. I'm hit. You know what I'm saying? JP Morgan, so, I put 100.
And he's 100% correct. He put 100 and something million into JP Morgan, and he hasn't broken any type of laws, and they just kicked him out and told him, hey, you got to go because we don't like something that you said or something that you did. So if they can do this to this person right here, and he's considered the elite, then what are they going to do to the average person like me and you if they don't like something that we were saying or something that we're doing or what we're spending our money on? This is why you do not need a central bank, need to support a CBDC or a central bank digital currency. Because keep in mind, the government will do this. Anything the government says is normally they're trying to do the opposite of what they're pushing in the public. Just keep that in mind. All right. So let's see what we have next on Twitter news. So next, we have this right here. The Fed is bailing out, the other central banks across the world. As you can see, they started out right now. They're bailing out the Swiss National Bank. And this right here is showing you how that is happening. All right. Hold on just a second. All right, my apologies. But so this is exactly how they're doing it. It says right here, United States dollar liquidity swap for what is it, $6 billion, 6 billion. These swap facilities are designed to improve liquidity conditions in global money markets and to minimize the risk that strains abroad could spread to U.S. markets by providing foreign central banks with the capacity to deliver U.S. dollar funding to institutions in their jurisdictions. The New York Fed undertakes certain small value transactions from time to time for the purpose of testing operational readiness. The results of the central bank liquidity swap operations are small value exercises of the central bank liquidity swap lines are published on a weekly basis when conducted. Right, so as you can see right here, this happened on the 12th of October. It settled on the 13th. Maturity date on the 20th. 7-day term at 3.3%. And these are the amounts. All right. So they're going to always protect themselves. Let's keep that in mind. All right. I wanted to show you this so that you can understand that. That's one thing that that the people are going to do. That Wall Street and everything is going to do. They're going to protect themselves. They're going to always protect themselves. All right. So next, I have something that I want to show you guys here, and it's actually Kayla Long, and what they're hinting at is that is there a conspiracy at the Federal Reserve? And she brings up she asked a very, very valid question, and it's something that needs to be asked, and we need an answer to. We actually need an answer to this right here. And I'm going to play this for you guys, and tell me what you think.
The question of whether crypto truly is risky within the traditional banking system and the connectivity, because there was a major announcement this morning, which is that Bank of New York Mellon, which is, I believe, the largest bank in the United States by assets, has officially now entered Bitcoin custody. And the interesting question that is raised by that is that they are a bank holding company that is regulated by supervised by the Federal Reserve. My company, as you know, has a lawsuit against the Federal Reserve, and I am about to make some news. You will see a filing from my company in that lawsuit pertaining to the announcement this morning, because the Federal Reserve filed filings last week talking about the risk to the financial system from crypto. And then today, a Federal Reserve supervised bank holding company enters crypto.
Boom. They always, that's why I tell you, do the opposite of whatever they push in the media. Whatever the government and the media tells you, it is always, always, always the exact opposite. Now, they've been telling and pushing you, crypto is bad. The regulation is nothing but scammers. It's nothing but the black market. The black web uses it. Nothing but criminals use it. The criminal network is money laundering, etc. But yet, behind the scenes, they're investing into crypto. They are doing all the things that they need to do to try to get a entry point into the crypto financial system. All right, so I'm going to play it back again so you listen to what she says again so it can sink in for you.
From my company in that lawsuit pertaining to the announcement this morning, because the Federal Reserve filed filings last week talking about the risk to the financial system from crypto. And then today, a Federal Reserve supervised bank holding company enters crypto. We've been waiting for 2.5 years to do that.
Exactly.
And look what the Fed actually said last week versus what it did today.
Well, no one's ever accused DC FinTech Week of not
quiet
to me shy people.
Just quiet. As you can see, they have nothing to say. They just laugh it off. Ha 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 ha. Funny, 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 funny. But she's putting the cartel right on display right there for you. She's telling you exactly what's going on. exactly how they're playing it, and exactly what they're doing. And you steady having people that are flooding the crypto market and telling other people that they're stupid, they're crazy, and they shouldn't invest in the crypto. They're going to lose everything. They're going to lose this and that. And they have no idea what they're talking about. They're not doing the research. They're not looking at deep dives into things and seeing exactly what things are. They're not listening and paying attention to the people that matter, or the people that are making these type of decisions that are making the decisions whether crypto is going to be implemented into the financial system or not, because it's already here. It's already going to be. You already have banks doing it. You just heard one person just say it right there, and we have more. Okay, we have a whole lot more. Every show, week after week after week, I show you guys how more and more banks are adopting crypto, more and more businesses and companies are adopting crypto, more and more partnerships are being made with crypto. But so there should be any doubt about the whole crypto market. So I want to alleviate your fears about crypto, about what's going on. That's why you stay tuned to this channel. That's why you subscribe to this on YouTube. That's why you follow us on Spotify and Pandora and Amazon Music and listen to us, because we bring you the news that you can use so you can make the best decision when it comes to these markets. All right. Now back to Twitter news. So we have Stephen Huber here. It says, funny enough, just before the Flare networks launch, the SEC is starting to go after airdrop projects. Expect to be sued by the SEC once again coming soon. And yeah, but I tell you what, if XRP wins the lawsuit, then they can hang that up. They won't be able to come after Flare, because Flare is part of XRP, and they will not be able to come after them at all. All right, and this is another move by the Grinch, Gary the Grinch, Gensler, to try to bring fear and to regulate, through enforcement, which is something that they need to get rid of him, man. He needs to be fired, okay? And that's just plain and simple, because he is not protecting investors. He's protecting his friends on Wall Street. He's protecting the big banks, and he's protecting the elite. He doesn't have the investors, the retail investors on his mind or anything. So that's what's so crazy. And he's trying to be the next Treasury Secretary. Anybody can see it. All right, anybody can see that. All right, so next up, I have IMF chair, or former IMF chair. Listen to what he says here.
I think CBDC can improve financial inclusion is through what we call programmability. That is, CBDC can allow government agencies and private sector players to program, to create smart contracts.
He said the CBDCs cannot allow private players to program smart contracts, etc., because that kicks the CBDC and the banks and the central banks out of the game. That's what Gary Gensler meant when he said that big speech that we're trying to level the playing field. He didn't mean for you and me, the average retail investor. He meant for the banks in Wall Street, because they were so far behind the curve that it was impossible for them to catch up without that XRP lawsuit, without XRC coming and threatening to sue everybody through, in regulation through enforcement. That's why Gary Gensler does not want to give clarification, because he doesn't want this to exist, because it threatens the banks in totality, the whole entire smart contracts. That is why JP Morgan and Wall Street went after Ethereum as far as backing it and trying to corner it. That's why they own 60% of the nodes on Ethereum, is because for the simple fact that you control Ethereum, you control the nodes, then you still control the next financial system that's coming into play. You still be at the top while everybody else is at the bottom of the next financial system that comes in. So they, instead of taking over all the cryptos, instead of trying to ban it, what they did was they found out that, okay, Ethereum's coming out with smart contracts, which enables NFTs, which enables DeFi, and etc. So let's just try to corner the market and take over Ethereum. All right, we do that. We create this right here, and then we direct everybody to build all their applications and everything onto Ethereum, and then we have a corner of the market, and then we can send our goons in the government to come after the crypto market, and that way Ethereum, the one that we pick, be the winners, and we already have our foothold. That's what's going on. All right, and if you can't see that's what happened, and that's what happened, and that's what is happening. Then, I mean, I can't help you. Even Ray Charles can see that. Stevie Wonder can see that. Okay, the Martians from millions of miles away, hundreds of millions of miles away can even see that. So that is what's going on. That was the reason for the XRP lawsuit, was to give J.P. Morgan Chase and Ethereum a upper hand and to catch up. That's all that it's about. Okay. Now back to the video.
To allow targeted policy functions. For example, welfare payment. For example, consumption coupon. For example, food stamp. By programming CBDC, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use this money can be utilized.
Again, they can control who can own it and who can use it. It is about control, people. Control.
For example, for food. So this potential programmability can help government agencies to precisely target their support to those people who need support.
And what will it do to the people who don't support them? How will it target them? Message.
So that way can also improve financial inclusion. Of course, I want to end with a caveat, because CBDC is not a panacea. CBDC cannot solve every challenge in financial inclusion. There are some aspects of financial inclusion is not related to technology. For example, financial literacy, digital literacy. So CBDC has to work with other policies together to try to improve financial inclusion. I stop here.
So yeah, like I said, he said a whole mouthful, and you can see this is what's going on in China. This is part of the social system implemented with that, and then you can understand why that they're pushing the CBDCs and the central bank digital currency so tough. You can understand why there is a push against it so tough as well. Okay, so next video. So next we have the XRP from video from Jack the Ripper. He posted. Okay, and it says people will hate themselves when XRP hits 35,000. And I actually have to agree. When XRP finishes the lawsuit and they win, and it actually, runs up like that, people are going to be like, what the hell? What happened? Why is it doing all this? They're not understanding because they didn't do the research on it. And they didn't align themselves with people who do the research. So let's check it out.
It's a currency.
Oh, good answer, man. I tell you, you've done your homework, Jimmy. Okay, there's a lot of speculation on the price of XRP after it becomes regulated, after regulatory clarity. Where do you feel that XRP, just based on your honest opinion, is going to hit, say, a month after regulation?
Yeah. So we believe that the last domino to fall on regulation right now is the SEC lawsuit, and that could be resolved in a variety of ways, but it could also be resolved in regulation coming in over the top. We know it's imminent, though, right? So when I say imminent, I would be surprised if a quarter from now we're really still embroiled in the SEC lawsuit, because I think the state of affairs throughout the world is such that we're going to need a solution like an XRP for liquidity purposes sooner rather than later. So the question is then.
Let me rewind that back real quick. Say it again.
Is such that we're going to need a solution like an XRP for liquidity purposes.
Not want, but you're going to need it.
So the question is then, okay, we've magically resolved it. Where does the price go? It's easy to project that it's a double-digit number. So I think it immediately shoots up to a $10, potentially $20 The wild card to me.
Now, I agree. I definitely agree. I agree. I agree that it's going to shoot up to double digits as soon as this case is over with. It's going to shoot up to double digits. If you're paying attention to what's going on with XRP and everything, all the governments and banks and everything that's buying it, things that are being built on it, then you'll understand that why he came with that conclusion, right? You definitely understand why he came up with that conclusion and how he came up with that conclusion. All right, so let's go back to the video.
Is that there is actually a deal to be done among the central banks and governments to basically have XRP work as the world's bridge currency, a neutral asset that could be traded between the central banks to move.
That's what we've been telling people for the longest about XRP. It's a neutral asset that allows to be traded between the banks and governments, etc., to move money around, man. It's decentralized. It's not Ethereum.
A specific type of fiat to another type of fiat. If that's what occurs, it's back to what we were discussing earlier. It's got to cover kind of all the money, and I think you're
got to cover all the money
that XRP would settle on agreement. So this would happen instantaneously.
Exactly.
Somewhere between $10,000 and $35,000 a coin.
Somewhere between $10,000 and $35,000 a coin. All right, I'm saying that again. Somewhere between $10,000 and $35,000 a coin. Y'all think I be playing when I be telling y'all these things, man? I sit here and I research, I look through articles, I look through things all day, and I try to find the best one, information to bring to you guys that will help you figure out what exactly is going on and make sense of all the chaos that's going on in the news. Okay, because it's a lot of FUD out here that you got to sift through. A lot of FUD. Next up, we have Timothy Masad, the former CTFC, so that's Commodities and Trade Commission. Chair says the CFT nor the SEC have any authority to regulate non-security cryptos like Bitcoin and Ether and cash markets. And if you notice, they have Hester Pierce there, who's currently I think she's currently in the SEC or she's currently in the CFTC, one of the two. But she's currently there and she's mute mouthed. Okay, down here in the South, what we like to call a person when you speak in facts that don't say anything that's quiet, we like to call them mute mouthed because they're quiet because they cannot say anything to oppose the truth that you had just dropped on top of their head. All right, so now let's check it out and see what they said in this now. All right.
But the big problem in the regulatory jurisdiction area is a real one, which is that neither the SEC nor the CFTC has authority to regulate the distribution and trading of crypto assets, which are not securities in that category.
Let me run it back again. Tell him again. Tell him again, Mr. Masad. And look at Hester Pierce. Watch her facial expressions. We're going to start this over again.
But the big problem in the regulatory jurisdiction area is a real one, which is that neither the SEC nor the CFTC has authority to regulate the distribution and trading of crypto assets, which are not securities in that.
Look at her face. She's like she in the hot seat.
The SEC can only regulate things.
Look at her. She in the hot seat. She know he's correct and everything. Look at her. Look at her face.
If they're securities, the CFTC.
Look at what I tell you. Look at her. Look at her. She's just trying hard to hold it in. She want to say something so bad. She wants to say something so bad. She wants to be like, why are you putting me on the spot like this right here, right now? I've never seen anybody turn so red. Look at them. They're not red. They're not red. He's not red, but she's red. She almost as red as her little her jacket or her blouse. Why are you so red, Miss Hester?
Derivatives based on crypto assets that are commodities, but it doesn't
What's
have
the deal?
Full authority to set standards for how that cash trading market should operate. And frankly, that's where a lot of the activity is, right? Bitcoin.
So that's why you so red. Let's hear it again. They don't have the authority to do what? Mr. Former head of the CFTC? Tell him again, Mr. Former Chairman.
Full authority to set standards for how that cash trading market should operate. And frankly, that's where a lot of the activity is, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum. I mean,
look at her face.
Part of the market. And
boy, she cannot say anything. She looks pissed the fuck off that he put that truth out here to the world. Boy, she looks pissed off. She looks very, very, very upset that, like, damn you for telling the world this right here. Why did you put me on the spot like that, Mr. Timothy Masad? Shout out to the people that just joined the stream and you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to replay it back so you can see Miss Hester's face when she is explained by the former CFTC chair, Mr. Masad, that they have no business regulating any certain type of cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and soon to be XRP. Really, the whole entire crypto market. So we'll play it over for you guys.
But the big problem in the regulatory jurisdiction area is a real one, which is that neither the SEC nor the
now watch your face. Look at
has
it.
Has authority
about to turn red
to regulate the distribution and trading of crypto assets, which are not securities.
Scratch my face because he's about to expose me.
Can only regulate things if they're securities. The CFTC.
Look at her face. Look at her now.
Derivatives based on crypto assets that are commodities, but it doesn't have full authority to set standards for how that cash trading market.
So you're gonna tell this guy that he's wrong when he used to be the head of the what is it, the CFTC? Can't tell him that he's wrong, can you?
Should operate. And frankly, that's where a lot of the activity is, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum. I mean, that's a large part of the market. And we don't have a federal regulator with technically that power. But the big problem in the regulatory...
Like I was saying, don't pay attention to what all the bullshit that's being flooded in the news. Because if you were on the stream earlier, you saw a video about the banks buying, banks investing, the financial markets investing, and everything. So it's all FUD. It's all FUD. So next we have on the Twitter news, we have his right here. So we have, former Christine Moy, formerly of JP Morgan Chase. Now I want you to listen to what she has to say, okay? Because it's the same exact thing that you've been hearing that I've been presenting to you. All right? So we're going to go into there and we're going to dive into what she's saying.
And atomic for the Asian region. We have spent the past year working on blockchain-based core banking systems to make global payments more seamless, efficient, and programmable. While building the technology was certainly difficult, the hardest part was working through the various internal and external approvals required for legal and regulatory treatment of the blockchain-based deposit system. We are proud to announce that we are now live and able to facilitate cross-border transfers for corporate clients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, without being limited by traditional local cutoff times and pre-funding requirements. Additionally, we are continuing the US dollar multi-currency payments clearing system work that we announced with the Monetary Authority of Singapore as part of the Project Ubin Phase 5 last year, building a multi-bank shared ledger to enable cross-border and multi-currency payment settlements that are real-time and atomic for the Asian region. We have spent...
But wait, didn't they say that crypto is bad? Wasn't JP Morgan Chase and all them saying that crypto is bad and the cross-border payments was the devil and would put the banks out of business, etc.? Everything that they are doing was to give JP Morgan Chase and the Wall Street bankers and the banks an opportunity to catch up to the private sector, because the private sector was about to put them out of business. All right, this is the whole thing behind the XRP lawsuit, the whole thing about regulatory clarity or the lack of, the whole thing about the whole conspiracies when it comes to the crypto market and about it being in the black market and cyber criminals and etc., because they don't want to lose their standing of being the elites. If I can bank myself, what do I need the bank for? If I could custody my own money, do my own transactions, right? Keep my own ledger, right? Loan out money to other individuals I don't even know through a decentralized platform and get interest back myself, what the hell do I need the banks for? What do I need them for? I'm my own bank. That's why it's a threat. So, now, for all my guys and girls that were big into comic books, like I was growing up as a kid, if you're not familiar with VV, all right, or any of the Marvel comics, they are actually come out on VV, right? And they have a new release that's coming out tomorrow, a one-on-one artwork. Okay, now some of these comics are special editions and things like that, and they sell for a pretty good penny. I've seen some go for about 4,000. They are NFTs, okay, and I've seen some go for more than four grand. All right, so these are NFTs, and Marvel and VV is pretty much where they release most of where they do release their new comic books and their comic NFTs. All right, so for all my NFT guys and girls that are in the NFTs, I thought I should bring this release to you guys and girls so that you can, start diversifying the show a little bit, should I say. Which that also leads me into some news of NFTs. It's time for the news, right? Where we read the portion of the show where we read the news articles. It says NFT bargain hunting is in as crypto bust creators' prices. And I actually agree. All right, I agree big time. I myself have been NFT hunting while these prices have been going down. I am on the Solana blockchain. That's where I mostly buy my NFTs. Solana, I bought some off Ethereum, but I mostly buy my NFTs off of Solana because it's affordable, and they have some that are doing a lot of work in this bear market that I think that it will be big once the bear market is over with. All right. So NFTs, it's big time. It's actually a good time to look up and find some NFTs that you had been having your eye on, but the prices were too high. So in the bear market, it would be a good time for you to NFT shop, so to say. All right. Next up, we have Russia's move to gold may jolt your company. Now, a lot of people have been seeing what's going on with this Russia-Ukraine thing, Russia-Ukraine war, and everything that's been going on has been affecting the markets as far as the crypto markets, as far as the stock markets, and the gold and silver, aka precious metal markets. All right. So I wanted to bring this to you guys to show you as well, because we here at the Crypto Hangout Network, we also promote precious metals. We promote anything that is a store of wealth that can help you weather this market and this downturn and this financial, crisis that we're on the brink of. Okay. So let's get into the article. It says, suffering from U.S. and EU sanctions, Russia made a surprise move. Its central bank fixed the price of 5,000 rubles to a gram of gold. Few Western investors or executives noticed. So while people in the West not even paying attention, Russia is quietly, pegging their fiat currency to the price of gold. So, once everybody starts to catch on, what the hell do you think is going to happen to the price of silver and gold? It's going to skyrocket. For the simple fact, Russia is an oil-producing nation, and they are a manufacturing nation, and they are a food-producing nation. Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to have oil for for their economy to function, right? And then on top of that, Russia formed what's known as the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. All powerful economies, all emerging economies, all manufacturing economies. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put 2 + 2 together to get 4. It says, then Russia sprang its trap. Its finance ministry announced that it would require payment for oil, natural gas, and other of its significant exports in rubles. I just got finished telling you that. And I have not even read this article at all yet. It says, what the Russians did was genius. I hate to say it, explains Jack Borgin, former president of Commerce Bank in Chicago and now chairman of Global Smart Commodity Group. It forces people to go to the Russian central bank and pay gold to get rubles to make the transactions. Again, it forces people to go to the Russian bank and pay gold to get Russian currency to make the transactions. Now, Russia also said that they were taking Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for the same thing. Now, when they peg their fiat currency to the cryptocurrencies as well, what do you think is going to happen with the prices of cryptocurrencies? Just ponder that for a second. Just sit back and ponder that for a second. Right? I want you to look at me. What do you think is going to happen to the price of cryptos when Russia, one of the largest oil producing countries, one of the largest food producing countries, one of the largest fertilizer producing country in the world, starts telling people, hey, you want our products that we produce? You either got to pay us in crypto, either convert some of that, your fiat into crypto and pay us, or you convert your fiat into gold and convert it into rubles and pay us. It ain't going to take long. It ain't going to take long before the rest of the world. You already see Saudi Arabia cozying up to them. A lot of countries in the Middle East cozying up to them. China's cozying up to them. Got to pay attention to what's going on. Got to pay attention. Keep your head on the swivel and pay attention to the climate, to the world events, and what's going on. Right? And that way, you can also see what's going on in the financial markets and which way to navigate and how to navigate to make the best decision possible for you and your family. Let's finish the article. The ruble had been trading in the range of 70 to 80 for the US dollar after the sanctions had plummeted to 120. Now the ruble basically recovered, trading 80 rubles to the dollar. And it's because of the way they pegged the ruble to gold. I just want to fall out of my chair because I have not read this article yet, and I'm telling y'all this right here. I'm reading it with y'all. This is the first time I'm reading this article. This is how we do it on the Sunday Night Hangout. We read the articles together, and then we commentate on them. Right? It says U.S. companies that have either international suppliers or customers could be jolted by Russia's golden move. Overseas business partners may need to barter gold for rubles to pay for inputs like energy, minerals, and fertilizers. Well, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. Didn't I not just tell y'all that they're going to have to take their fiat money, convert it to gold, and then convert it to Russian rubles, right? Right? You know how much value they're going to lose in all those transactions, all the goddamn fees they got to go through? But imagine what the price is going to be of those commodities, cryptocurrencies, and precious metals. It's about to skyrocket through the roof. So, me sitting here reading this, I'm telling myself, I already have a large stack of gold and silver that I've been buying for the past. I've been buying gold and silver since 2000 and let's see, my daughter's born 13. Yeah, since 2011. For 11 years, right? That's when I've been buying gold and silver. I take a little portion of it from my 9-to-5 check, and I go buy me some, right? And I take half of that portion that I put to the side and I put into crypto. U.S. counterparts pay in ruble. This could demand U.S. counterparts pay in rubles or bullion. They gonna have to pay in rubles or gold. You're gonna have to pay in Russian rubles or gold. Either way it goes, you're gonna have to convert your fiat into gold, silver, or crypto, and convert it into rubles to pay, or just pay them outright in that. Big move by Russia, and it's gonna shake up the global markets. If you don't know, now you know. Shout out to Biggie. Next up, we have Miss Yellen here. She's back in the spotlight again. She's talking about, hey, we might do debt buybacks. But she just came on C-SPAN, what was it, 2 days ago, and said that the economy is doing fine. No need to worry. None of that stuff. But here, she's talking about exploring debt buybacks. Says Treasury is considering buying back its older debt, a bit like recycling. Really, huh? It's like just like recycling, right? That's all it is. You know, we're just buying back some more debt. Just going to recycle it. You know, gonna recycle the debt, buy it back, put it back in circulation. You know, just clean it up a little bit and then put it back in circulation. People won't even notice. Craziness. On Friday, the U.S. Treasury Department said it plans to start talking with primary dealers in late October about the potential for it to begin buying back some of its older debt to help stave off market dysfunction. Well, it seems to me that you guys don't know what the hell that y'all doing, because at first you said inflation wasn't going to be transitory. Well, at first you said it wasn't going to exist. Then you said it's transitory. Now you're saying that it's going to be possibly a recession, but honestly, it's going to be a depression. But hey, the plan, if adopted, would mark a milestone in the roughly 22.6 trillion U.S. government debt market, the world's largest, by providing a new tool for the Treasury to help aid market liquidity, a source of growing concern. The proposal comes after the Bank of England was forced to step in with an emergency program to temporarily buy its government debt and to give UK pension funds more time to unwind soured bets. Now, I tell everybody, as it happens, as so goes Europe, so goes the United States. When you see everything happen in Europe, the fall of the pound, the destruction of the pound, you have 2 weeks before the destruction of the dollar happens over here. This is your cue. This is your key. Once you see this start to happen in the Bank of England, the bank runs, the fall of the pound, etc., the crash of the pound, etc., know that you have 2 weeks before it happens to America. And you need to get your money out and make proper accommodations. All right, so and it says that to give the volatility erupted as global central banks have worked to fight soaring inflation by ending easy monetary policies that prevailed for most of the past decade. Importantly, unlike in the UK, the new Treasury proposal is separate from the Federal Reserve's plan to sharply cut the size of its balance sheet by letting its holdings of Treasury and mortgage bonds roll off at maturity, a process known as quantitative tightening, or QT. All right, so I'm going to read that again just so you can clearly understand what QT or quantitative tightening is. All right, it says, unlike in the UK, the new Treasury proposal is separate from the Federal Reserve's plans to sharply cut the size of its balance sheet by letting its holdings of Treasury and mortgage bonds roll off at maturity, a process known as quantitative tightening, or QT, after it hit a record size of nearly $9 trillion under 2 years of quantitative easing, known as QE. This is not QE or QT. This is none of those, said Thomas Simmons, money market economist at Jefferies, in a phone interview. This is the first real serious beginning round of exploring if they might do something. This is quite far from an announcement. It is more like fact-finding. So how are these buybacks going to work, right? How are they going to buy back the debt? How do they plan on doing this thing, right? So let's see right here. Let's see how they plan on doing this. It says the idea would be to sop up unwanted supply of an off-the-run securities that can become harder to trade once they are replaced with newer Treasury issuance or in-the-run securities. It's a supply management program, really over the course of a year. Simmons said of the Treasury proposal, it looks like a tool they could use over the long run and aim liquidity where it's impaired. The Treasury has been meeting quarterly with the dealer community to solicit feedback on the market functioning for years. Buybacks have been discussed at previous meetings in August and February. So see, they've been talking about this shit just for months, right? So this is not new. They've been talking about this, like it says here, since August of 2022 and as far back as February of 2015. So they've been talking about this for what? 7 years? So they've been knowing that the debt is going out of control for at least 7 years. They've been knowing that we cannot continue in this financial situation that we've been doing, and this economy is not going to continue to be, to be able to sustain itself at the rate that it's been going for the last 7 years at minimum. They've been knowing that, right? Shady as hell. Then the article goes on to say, talks about a UK-style debt crisis brewing in the US. Now, here at the all the Hangout gang, they are aware of a crisis. The Hangout gang is aware of a crisis. Hangout gang is aware of another crash that is coming about. So Hangout gang is prepared for the upcoming things that are about to happen or come down the pipe. Right, Hangout gang? Right? I know Hangout gang is. So there's no need for me to worry about Hangout gang because I keep Hangout gang laced out with the top-notch information for them to make the best possible decision that they can. So we're going to get into the article because Hangout gang is going to be okay. The Federal Reserve began to pick up the pace by shrinking its balance sheet this fall by letting more bonds it holds mature. It also no longer has been an active participant in the secondary market for Treasury securities, raising concerns about potential havoc and who might set up as an anchor buyer. While the Fed's holdings of Treasury securities would be considered off the run, the Treasury proposal would have no relationship whatsoever to what the Fed has been doing to shrink its balance sheet, said Stephen Stanley. Recent volatility in the UK gilts market might have been a catalyst for the U.S. Treasury to put buybacks back on the agenda, Stanley said, but he also wasn't alarmed by its reappearance as a topic of discussion. Again, recent volatility in the UK markets might have been the catalyst for them to put the buybacks back on the agenda. Again, recent volatility in the UK markets might have been the catalyst for the U.S. Treasury to put buybacks back on the agenda. I just told you guys, whatever happens in the UK, Europe, 2 weeks later, it'll happen over here, right? When it comes to these financial markets crashes. This right here is more clues to point you in that direction. This is the main way the Treasury formally interacts with its primary dealers, Stanley said. Simmons and Jeffries went a step further, arguing that if the Bank of England had a parallel, separate counterpart like the U.S. Treasury Department, it might not have experienced such a negative reaction by markets. When it rolled out its temporary bond buying program at the same time, it has been working to raise interest rates and otherwise tighten financial conditions to restrain inflation. Right? So, no matter what they say, it's coming here. Buybacks, raising interest rates, whatever they do, it's not going to work because it is time to pay the piper. You can't keep kicking the can down the road, right? Our fiscal policy has been detrimental to us, and therefore, you're seeing the effects of it. Now, back to more crypto news. New crypto accounting guidelines could smooth the way for adoption, which it very well could. The United States Financial Accounting Standards Board, FASB, decision to allow companies to use fair value to account for their crypto holdings could be seen as another step toward the wider institutional adoption of cryptocurrency. So it's coming. It's coming regardless of what people say, regardless of the FUD, regardless of how they try to trick you into selling all your cryptocurrencies that you have amassed over the years. It's coming. During a meeting on October 12th, the FASB board made the decision to require entities to measure crypto assets at fair value. So this is not a thing, this is a requirement. So they're requiring entities to measure crypto assets at fair value. The board's decision is tentative at this stage. It could be changed at future board meetings when they continue to weigh their options. The decision, if approved, will allow companies to update their balance sheets regularly with fair value of crypto assets, rather than referring to digital assets such as Bitcoin as intangible assets, where companies were required to measure assets at their lowest price during a recording period. The previous treatment of digital assets resulted in large impairment losses on balance sheets, even if their positions were currently in the green, with firms being unable to regularly update the value of their holdings if the value were to increase. All right, so we have here a quote from Anthony Tuss, right? And he is the principal of KPMG's investment tax practice. He says FASB has just cleared the way for new accounting guidance, which will allow most cryptocurrencies to be accounted for at fair value. When this guidance goes into effect, likely in 2023, it will greatly help smooth the way for broader mainstream adoption. I agree. It's already getting adopted, and this is why you've seen over the past 2 years all these Fortune 500 companies, positioning themselves with crypto products or crypto payment systems, etc., because they knew that this was going to come. And anytime you see companies starting to do something like that, then what they're anticipating is coming more than likely 2 to 5 years later. All right. So when I started seeing that started happening, then I already knew that the mainstream adoption was coming, and that right there, hardened my resolve as far as crypto was coming, because I knew that if companies and businesses are implementing new processes, implementing new technologies, and those technologies are crypto technologies, then it's going to be mainstream, sooner than later, right? Wouldn't you agree? So it says the United States standard setter had declined to consider new accounting rules for crypto until May 11th, when board members decided to add the project to its technical agenda after an increase in market capitalization of crypto assets made the matter more urgent. Right? And so they're talking about non-fungible tokens here. All right. So it says that added that not all digital assets will qualify for new accounting treatment. NFT asset-backed tokens and similar are still subject to the previous guidelines. So it doesn't include the NFTs. All right. Now, I also want to let you guys know too, the bear market is where millionaires are born. The bear market are where the long-term longevity crypto projects are being made. And as you can see, Web3 developers are more active than ever amid this crypto winter and this bear market, right? More active than ever. So people are still building just because you don't see or hear anything, especially these NFT projects, right? These NFT projects are quietly putting their head down and building out and hashing out problems and better, implementing better processes into their work, into their projects. Web3 developers don't appear to be fazed by the crypto bear market, with one Web3 platform suggesting they're more active than ever, particularly on the Ethereum network. Hence why JP Morgan Chase wanted the Ethereum network. In a new Q3 2020 report, October 3rd, by Web3 development platform Alchemy, the company said that 2022 could be the biggest year yet for Web3 developers. Around 36% of all smart contracts ever developed and verified on the blockchain have been in 2022. A count of nearly 118,000 compared to over 323,000 ever deployed. Right? So it says Alchemy states the deployment of smart contracts increased by 40% from its first quarter of the year, with conservative all-time highs hit every month over the third quarter, peaking at 17,376 in September alone. And right here it shows a chart. As you can see, the smart contracts. These are smart contracts that have been made month by month. All right, so you had July 14,000, August 16,000, and September 17,000. Different types of people or organizations, companies, businesses developers building on Ethereum and interacting with the smart contract or coming up with their own smart contract. The company also analyzed the usage of two Web3 script libraries, Ether.js and Web3.js, which allow developers to read blockchain data and Web3 products. The team found the number of developers installing either library had increased by 3 times that of Q3 2021 to over 1.5 million downloads on average per week. So they're getting 1.5 million downloads per week. All right. So yeah, that is explosive growth on the Ethereum network. So again, Web3 devs are more active than ever during the crypto winter. CFTC shows action why crypto developers should get ready to leave the U.S. Considerable anxiety exists around the world of Web3 related to regulation and the legal status of crypto projects. It's particularly apparent in the United States, where the Commodity Futures Trading Commission fueled concerns in September with an announcement that it was imposing a $250,000 fine on a decentralized autonomous organization known as a DAO and its investors. The fine was particularly onerous, considering DAOs are intended to be regulation-proof. The CFTC said in a statement on the issue that OkiDAO's protocol offered illegal off-exchange trading of digital assets. The agency took issue with the fact that the founders, Tom Bean, Kyle Krishna, tried to use the existing B0X protocol within the DAO to put it beyond the reach of regulators. regulators. By transferring control to a DAO, B0X founders touted B0X community members, the operators would be enforcement proof. The CFTC said the founders were wrong. However, DAOs are not immune from enforcement and may not violate the law with impunity. The fine is not all that surprising. The CFTC and other regulators are not going to abide by a veil of decentralization. But there is something within the ruling that is extremely worrying to Web3 lawyers and developers. The agency's complaint indicated that the voters within a given DAO could be distinctly liable. Now that's going to be big. In other words, no longer will the founders be targeted, as users who take part could also be liable. This is sure to have a chilling effect on turning people away from DAOs and Web3 in general. After all, the whole point is to avoid this kind of targeting and to create new ecosystems where parties can vote in peace on issues that concern them. Now that's going to be big. That can stifle the NFT markets, okay? That can stifle that. Big time. Now, the whole thing about this is, man, they're coming after any and everything that they deem a threat to the financial markets and the financial systems, right? So I hope that you guys, that watch today's show in its entirety, first and foremost, let me say thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate everything that the Hangout gang has done for the Crypto Hangout Network in general. All the shares, all the likes, all the comments across all the platforms. But I want you guys to understand and get the gravity of how the regulatory government is trying to come after crypto and the retail investors, because they don't want you in it, because it is a threat. If the people see it as a way out, the people see it as an opportunity, then it is a threat to the establishment, because it actually has the power. Anything decentralized has the power to shut the government out, because they can't control you. They can't use it to control you. They can't. And that is the whole thing about government. It is about control. It's not about the best, well, it used to be about the best interests of its citizens and people, but it's not anymore. It's about control, all right? And they want to control you. Now, before we head out, I want to again remind you that you can find all of our podcast shows. We have the METASPOT podcast, which you can find on Spotify, Amazon Music, and as well as Pandora. All right, and you can find this show here, not live, but you can find the replay of this show here on those same platforms as well. Okay, on that same platform as well. You can follow us here on Instagram, on the Crypto Hangout Network, as well as Twitter at CryptoCrane2, and we'll be constantly putting out news and articles and different things for you guys to use. All right, so this is Crypto Crane, and I'm signing out. Until next Sunday, we'll see you. Peace.